Are we on? Are we on? Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Poole Harding. Tonight program is dedicated to my friend, my brother, Warren Gardner. May he rest in peace. Now that we got that out the way, tonight's guest. This basketball head is one of New York City High School top writers for NYCHoops.net. He is a graduate of Towson University in Maryland. He began his coaching career as coach for St. Anthony's for 6 years. He also was director of operations as well as assistant coach on the freshman and JV level, as well as head coach on the JV level. Don't let me forget, he was also football and basketball coach, having experience being a coach in the big three sports in New York City: football, baseball, basketball. This basketball head has been a writer for NYCHoops.net for the past 3 years. NYC Hoops, led by Maurice Wingate, who has created one of the most important sites on New York City basketball, with his basketball head has been and has written over 1,000 articles. Y'all hear it? Over 1,000 articles under his belt. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show, St. Anthony's High School JV coach, and now NYCHoops.net top writer, my guy, Coach Brian Rerichert.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yeah. You have just stepped into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
Hey,
my man?
How you doing, my brother?
What an intro, my man. I'm fired up for this episode.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Well, listen, man. First of all, I want to say thank you for everything that you do for New York City, for real, and abroad. When we talk about the whole New York, you guys do a great job over there at NYCHoops.net. And make sure you tell Maurice you got to get in the show as well.
Of course.
So we can get all you guys on here and give you guys some love. Listen, I want to say I'm a big fan. I appreciate all the things that you guys do. And I'm just here to give you your flowers, man, because, along with myself, man, you help out a lot of kids.
I appreciate that, my man. It's something I've always been passionate about, hoops, especially since I'm younger. And, especially working with kids, I have like a phys ed gym teacher background, and I've always had a connection with kids, and I love helping kids. And this is the best kind of platform for me to kind of push these kids as further, as far as they can in the basketball world,
No, listen. I listen. You understand what kind of things is working on my mind already. And I'm gonna talk to you during the show because I want to get your word on air so we can make it official. But what I want to incorporate into what we're doing here at NYC Basketball Network is do like highlights and recaps of some of the games. Yeah. Right? Because MSG, we don't have that. The kids don't have that no more. right?
It's a great
Mike
point.
Quick is not here no more to do that.
Yeah.
You get
It's
what I'm
funny,
saying?
like Mike Quick is basically one of my mentors and a really good friend of mine, and we talked about that. It's crazy how, you know, people don't realize how high NYC basketball is right now in the state of New York. I mean, Long Island, upstate, the amount of talent in the state right now is off the charts, and the coverage is nowhere near where it should be. You know, especially like you said, videos. You know, get these guys on
Hold
TV.
on, hold on. You got your first tech of the night. You got your first tech of the night. I need you to repeat that because I think sometimes people get it twisted, right? You said we have so much talent, but
It's crazy.
Go ahead and repeat what you just said.
Exactly what I was saying. People do not realize from top to bottom, 2024, 2025, 2026, even 2027 coming up, the amount of talent in New York is crazy right now. The depth in all these leagues, even with kids leaving, there's so many kids still in New York. It's a great time for New York basketball. It really is.
I thought I was the only one saying it because, you know, people always talking that talk like, you know, New York is down. And, you know, listen, I'm one of the elder statements in this game, and I've seen a lot of basketball. For me to see what we have cooking now and for the future, you know, I see a lot of these kids when I'm traveling throughout the summer, and also I have my own basketball tournament. So we see them all early, and to know what's coming down the pipeline.
Well, that's the best part. You get a good look at these guys kind of in the beginning stages, you know, before they kind of get on the varsity court for some of these PSAL or, you know, CHSA teams, you know, because they're so loaded. You know, it's like, you know, Kion Anthony played freshman basketball at Christ the King. Do I need to say anything else about how deep these leagues are? You know, it's crazy. Kids are in D1 offers playing freshman basketball. It's crazy.
And we talk about back then, not now, because he's a much hell of a better player he is now than he was then. But, you know, we got also Ron Phelps Jr., who's coming up through that, right? Right? We talking about the lineage of those dads who have kids now who are playing, the Carmelos, the Ron Phelps Jr., and so on and so forth. Is Sincere Falk, come from a great line from the Falk family.
And you want a good story, Pooh? One of my first time coaching on varsity, one of our first non-league games, we had to go into Malloy versus Cole Anthony as a junior. So Moses Brown, Khalid Moore, I mean, loaded. So you don't got to tell me about the lineage because Cole kicked my butt for about 3-4 years.
For sure, for sure. Salute to my brother, Cal. You know what I'm saying? Griffin, the building, all things hoops. Show him Maurice some big love. Salute to Maurice Bennett as well in the building. Yeah, so I want to jump right into this. Who introduced you to the game?
You know, I've always been a multi-sport athlete, and you know, I had a mentor growing up who was kind of my coach from like probably second grade to high school. So I'm going to give some flowers to my my mentor growing up, Mr. White. And it's funny, he was actually the head of officials in like Suffolk County. So, you know, me and his son still make fun of his travel call. I mean, every time a guy took a step, he screamed a walk, you know, it was great. So I get a lot of respect for the refs from him, but he's definitely my mentor growing up. And then NBA wise, Pooh, I was obsessed with Kobe since the day I saw him. Kobe Bean Bryant.
Rest in peace to the Mamba.
The best.
So different. And listen, Brian, I'm gonna keep it all the way to 100. When I hear people disrespect Kobe Bryant by throwing LeBron James in front of him, it just irritates me.
Oh my God.
Mind you, I don't even listen to the Jordan talk, but when they don't even mention Kobe, like how you not even mention him? It's like you act like he was never alive.
I know, man. I mean, when the model
no disrespect to LeBron. This is no disrespect.
Yeah, I mean, you know, LeBron is going to be, you know, statistically the best player ever, you know. But if you're talking about what career you want, it starts with MJ, and for me, it's Kobe right after. I mean, they were the model 1 to 2, same team most of their career. defensive-minded, scorers, alphas.
Brought others up, didn't
Yep.
poach
Oh,
for
yeah.
all-stars.
Made Rick Fox a man. Come on, I know now.
Who's going to do that? How many
Yeah.
times Rick Fox can actually say he was the guy in an NBA team?
Yeah.
No disrespect to Rick Fox. Did a hell of a job. No, that's such a great point. And you say you grew up out on Long Island.
Grew up out on Long Island. Yeah. Went to public school and then ended up going to St. Anthony's for high school. And it's actually crazy because I was such a big hooper. I loved football. I played baseball. I did track. I did volleyball. I did a little bit of everything. But it happened like 2 or 3 years in a row, Pooh, where I would get injured right at the end of football, right before basketball. And, you know, it kind of showed me that kind of hoops was kind of done for me by like sophomore, junior year. Played for my church growing up in the church league. Always went to the city, loved the competition and stuff like that. But that's when I kind of knew like basketball was kind of over for me, you know, probably like middle of the high school, I would say.
And hold on for a sec. You still a professional.
Yeah.
You still do well for yourself.
And Pooh, I got no problem telling guys I didn't play in high school. You know?
No, but I see. Yeah. But what the point I'm making is, and this is for kids that's watching, because sometimes they think when that ball stops dribbling or start bouncing, right, and they can't do the sports more, they think it's over. It's not over. Life just begins.
Absolutely. And I mean,
sooner or later, like my guy Eric Hicks says, the game will be over.
That's right.
It's going to be over one day, no matter
Absolutely.
what. All of us is going to hit that point.
Yeah, and that kind of Pooh kind of, you know, gave me a little insight into coaching. You know, my uncle was the head varsity football coach at St. Anthony's for like 30 plus years. He's got the most wins on Long Island. So I've always had a coaching background, and, you know, something was always just about hoops, Pooh. It always drove me there, even with some football background, baseball, just something always about hoops where I just wanted to be involved with it. I got some action in the city through coaching, and I just got obsessed with it. I remember going to a game at Fordham watching Christ the King play Stepanak. I said, this is better than anything you could watch. You know, I mean, intense. There were NBA guys on the court. I think Adrian Griffin Jr. had the most impressive performance I've ever seen in my life in that game. I mean, what a talent. But, you know, just the level of athleticism and the talent I saw in New York with hoops, just different than any other sport, honestly.
The legendary Tom Grice. St. Anthony's, correct?
Tom Grice.
Tom Grice.
Tom Grice.
So let me explain to you. Let me give you some history. Tom Grice, 7-footer. Legendary. St. Anthony's. He's a comedian now.
Okay.
Yes. Kenny Anderson and them beat them to go to the city championship.
Wow.
No, I think beat them in the city championship. But Kenny Anderson hit the last second shot to beat them, right?
Look at you throw up the lefty like you're hitting it like Kenny Pooh.
Right. Because we wound up playing them up in Glen Falls. Right?
Okay, really?
So, yes, I played for Lincoln. So,
of course you played for Lincoln, Pooh. I know that.
I want to let everybody know every time, too. So, what happened was, Tom Grice was so big, right? And he wound up going to Villanova. But we talk on Facebook because I mentioned him now, hoping he click on this. He's going to come on the show one day. And he's like, yo, he thinks people forgot about him. It's like, no, bro. I was around. I remember. It's a great era.
Keep the legend going, my man.
There you go. Who was the best player you seen growing up, whether they was in the city or Long Island?
Oh, easily. So I remember in a tournament one time, you know, I get subbed in by my coach, and there's this gigantic kid who's like almost a foot taller than me, Pooh. And I'm like, you know, I'm trying to throw this kid around, pushing him everywhere I can. And all of a sudden someone says he's like 2-3 years younger than me. I couldn't believe it. And after the game, this big monster comes up to me. He goes, man, I love the way you're pushing around my son. I love it. And it was Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris was one of the most special dudes I ever saw growing up. And the other kid I'm going to shout out because I want to shout out the city. I remember he played our freshman basketball team at St. Anthony's. One of the most insane players I've ever seen at a young age. Sylvan Landisberg at Holy Cross. Unbelievable, Pooh. Wow. What a talent. So those two guys kind of stick out to me when I was kind of younger as some special guys. I know Sylvan was a New York City kid, but that guy was special.
He put up so many buckets too.
Oh my
You know,
God.
I just remember everybody's like, who is this kid? Who is this kid? And this was during a time when I wasn't really like, I stepped away from the game for a long time. But I just remember that name because my guy Derek Chivas went there. And when I heard him putting up all these points, I was like, if he's doing it at Holy Cross, he's doing it. Like, it's not easy. You know, it's not like they get players there. You know, they get, as it seemed like every 10-year span they got a good player, and then you know, it also helps that they had Coach Kerr there as well, so that makes everything right. Yeah, rest in peace, Coach Kerr. All right, Tola, what's happening, brother? So, you talk about just how sports kind of shape you as a person, and then you realize that after the injuries, you need to go in another direction. What made you go to Townsend?
It's funny. I was actually gonna probably my junior year. I said to myself, I want to do phys ed. I want to be a gym teacher. I want to get into coaching. And everyone kept saying, kind of pushing me towards Cortland, SUNY Cortland. So I visited there. I really liked it. And when everything was kind of going through, I ended up kind of getting waitlisted there. And, me being a competitive kid, I said, you know what, Pooh, they don't want me. They want to wait. I'll go somewhere else. So, I kind of looked down my list of some other schools and we checked out Towson and, Pooh will love this, but we went down there. It was about 70 degrees. There were beautiful girls everywhere. I said, Ma, this might be it. I think I'm going to do it. And they had my major and they had decent sports. So that's basically how I ended up down there. I kind of told Cortland that I'm going to Towson.
Listen, I remember going down to Towson University for the BC camp.
Okay.
They had the BC basketball camp, invitational camp, and we went down there, and it was off the chain, man. Just saw some amazing guys from all over the country, and I think that was my first camp, and I realized that there are basketball players all over the country doing exactly what I'm doing.
Oh yeah. Right. There's some serious dudes out there all over and I mean, that little pocket of Maryland right there, DMV. I mean, they had a run where they had, probably have like 5 to 10 NBA players from that little pocket in probably a 5-year run. Quinn Cook, Ty Lawson, KD, all those guys from that kind of area. So
Adrian Dantley, it's a whole bunch from down there. Johnny Dawkins, there's a lot of them dudes from down that area who did very well for themselves. Now, what classes did you take that you can remember that kind of helped you as a writer, or you was already a good writer and that's something that just came natural to you?
Absolutely not, Pooh. Took 0 writing classes, my friend. I took a couple of sport and media classes. It was funny. It was kind of like right when Twitter came out, and I'll never forget, like, there was a couple athletes that made some controversy statements on there. And, like just when Twitter was starting, and I remember we were asking questions in the sport media class, like, what do you think of Twitter and stuff? It's so funny to look back on now, but Pooh, not a lot of writing experience, a lot of trial and error. And, those NYC Hoop editors take care of me for sure. I'll tell you that.
That's dope. Hey, listen, as long as you got some help, man, never turn it down, it'll just make the process better.
The more I see it, and improve it, I'm all about it. I'm a team guy. I try and put my ego aside. And, at the end of the day, if they want things changed in the article, it's to help out the kid or the coach or the program that's being talked about. So, we want to make it as accurate and, as right as possible.
How did you land the job there at NYC?
It's actually crazy. So when I coached, obviously when Maurice was around, anything he needed, like you talked about before, like director of operations, I kind of dealt with any media that wanted to talk to my kids. Maurice would check us out a good amount. He'd have us in some tournaments. So I knew kind of who he was. I'd help him talk to my players. But it's actually crazy. I haven't really told a lot of people, but his number two, Stacey Davis, who's the greatest ever, found a burner account that I had too. And she messaged me saying, you know, you do a great job talking about kids. What do you think about writing for us?
Wow.
And it blew my mind because, you know, I was kind of a coach at the time. I was really kind of pumping up kids. Even in my league, my opponents, I was pumping up, you know, not even worrying about myself. Didn't think anything could really come of it. Just wanted to kind of, you know, shine some light on some nice kids, especially my kids, you know, and I was kind of running my own Twitter account. But I said, let me do a burner, kind of pump up the league a little bit. And, you know, Stacy and NYCHoops found me through that.
The best promotion, self-promotion.
Well said.
Because you never know. You never know who's watching.
No. And I can't tell you, Pooh, how many times, like, you know, I'll have a post or whatever, and, you know, you won't see a lot of activity on it. And I'll be walking in a gym, and some guy will just grab me on the shoulder and say, hey, man, I saw this article on so-and-so, and it was great, you know, and or like, you know, I see what you're doing with so-and-so, and I really like it. So, you know, it just comes up here and there, you know.
Nah, that's definitely deserve all the kudos for that one, man. So now, you was coaching before you became, right? You was coaching first. That came
Absolutely.
first.
Yep. Coach, like I said, 3 sports for about 6 years.
And the reason why I call it the big three, because you know you from New York. Those are the big 3 sports.
Those are the big 3. You nailed it.
You know, we all came up playing all 3 in New York City, which kind of helped us develop for each sport. As a coach, right? Coaching kids and writing about kids, how has that helped you in the job that you're doing now over at NYCHoops?
You know, I think coaching has definitely helped me, you know, build relationships with the coaches. And I think it's also helped me with the kids. Because, you know, I try to tell the kids, you know, it's not about you kind of, you know, messaging me for an article. It's just you kind of, you know, being professional, staying up to date with some of your stuff and things like that, and keeping a dialogue. And it's, you know, coaching and being around the kids, teaching allows you to kind of connect with them in different ways and relate to them, you know. And I even tell the kids, you know, I'm not trying to be, you know, tell you where to go. I'm just trying to help you out, get your name out there. And I think coaching's really helped me with the writing with that and kind of building relationships.
And, you know, going back to what you said about creating a burner account and writing all these positive things, not just for your kids, even for the competition.
Absolutely.
That's right there tells what kind of person you are and how you want to help more than hurt. Because you could have easily had that burner account, be anonymous, and spew hate.
Absolutely. And, you know, that's just the mentality I have is, you know, these kids go through enough. These kids have enough negative things. You know, the last thing we need is more adults getting in the way of these kids, especially in high school sports. You know, we should all be guiding these young men up instead of bringing them down or making negative comments. I mean, to be an adult and to bash a kid who's giving it his all, you know, who's at class all day, then he goes to practice, then he goes to the game, then he comes home and, you know, his house life may not be great. I mean, the last thing you should be doing is commenting on things like that. But people will always be people, you know. So that's why I always try and stay positive, especially with the kids.
Listen, I'm just listening to you, brother. All of those things you saying, right? The things that people don't talk about.
Yeah.
We don't know what kind of situation these kids is going through. And remember, they're kids.
Yeah.
They're kids. You know, it's one thing I won't do on my platform. I don't allow any negative talk.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing that. And even guys who come on who may have a shady past, I don't care about that because I found out about you through basketball.
Yeah.
Whatever other stuff that have nothing to do with basketball, that ain't for this platform.
Yeah.
You know, and I think when it comes to just women and kids, I'm just, and people just in general, the spew of hate doesn't come out here. So
yeah.
Great job, brother. We talk about the state of New York City basketball, right? We was mentioning some things before the show. You know, I know we all here to talk, and people talking about New York City is down. How do you feel about the state of New York City basketball right now?
Yeah, like I was saying before, Pooh, I think it's sky high. I think it's the deepest it's ever been. I mean, between between us and the listeners, like Long Island a little bit, I would say is down, Pooh, a little bit.
I've heard that from everybody that
Yeah,
even from
being
Long Island,
honest,
all my
I
Long
got no
Island guys. Yeah.
problem, no problem being honest, Pooh. I would say it's a little down, but also, it's because kids have kind of left and gone to other programs, whether it's in the state or prep or the city or things like that. So there's definitely some talented kids in Long Island, but I got to tell you, upstate and the city it's just like every week I'm discovering a new kid who's got tons of D1 interest. I just can't believe how many D1 prospects there are in the city and upstate. It's out of this world right now. It's crazy.
Now, I had my guy Brian Nash from IMG, the basketball director of IMG, and we talked about kids getting a lot of these early offers, and kids are posting these offers on Instagram, which kind of elevates them over other people, right? But me knowing what I know, and it's not to knock the kid, right? But me knowing what I know, and
is it legit?
all the coaches,
is it legit, right?
Right. So when it comes to things like that, what I do, if I don't see the kid play, I don't want to hear what nobody else says about him, right? Because I get so many people hit me up about players, and I'll be like, okay, let me see him play first.
Yeah, I try and get a little tape too. I try and see a little in person, especially when I'm making some claims as a guy's a potentially top 150 guy on Rivals. You have to go and see them in person. But I think that's honestly a great rule, Pooh. Especially a lot of these fake offers are coming out. A lot of kids are posting stuff. Because I always say, Pooh, some of these offers these kids get, why aren't they taking them right there and then? I mean, sometimes, you're not going to get any higher, or even if, you get offered there, they may come, get disinterested in you or hit the transfer portal. I mean, you got to realize, why aren't these kids jumping on some of these if they're, quote unquote, some real offers sometimes?
If you know what I know, B, is the game is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? This game is crazy right now. Now the NCAA came up with a rule that underclassmen can't take pictures in the uniforms anymore.
Yeah.
Because they starting to catch on. I think
so
if
like
you're
2027 and 2026.
Yes.
Okay.
Sophomores. I'm not too sure about juniors in the age range, but of course, it's like the jig has been up because it's been going. Social media is going crazy, and when you finally see these kids at the end of their recruiting process and seniors, and they're not going to any of those schools.
Of course. Yeah. And, it's, there's the thing, like, are you offering because you want to get in early and build a relationship? Or are you just telling this person that they're getting offered to kind of make the AAU program happy and kind of, let the director, the coach say, hey, I got a kid that has a so-and-so offer. There's definitely a lot of that going on, Pooh. And it's, it's hard to separate at times. That's why like you said, it's almost a rule I kind of do is before I'm stamping a kid, I got to kind of see him. And the other thing is that no one talks about, I got to see his grades, Pooh. There's so many kids that I've kind of promoted and really pushed into places. And it's really come back to bite me in the butt because I haven't really focused on their grades as much as I probably should have. So probably within the last year and a half, I'm all over it, Pooh. That's one of the main things I need to know.
Now, I'm so glad you brought that up because that's so important. Now, I believe in that as well, right? I believe in that as well, making sure the kids is straight school-wise. But what are you judging them on? If you're a basketball scout or writer, are you basing his game and his potential on his grades and basketball, right? Because it can get tricky. It can get tricky when you start to do it, especially when you don't see, especially when you don't have access to all the grades.
Of course, well, you're only going on a lot of word to mouth, and that's why I talked about how important those relationships are. Especially it's hard to get in touch with a lot of these PSAL guys. Sometimes a lot of guys aren't answering and stuff, or like you said, you're not really getting a clear answer. You're getting we're kind of gonna wait to the end of the semester to see how he does. But I think. It definitely, especially potential and upside, Pooh, grades are a huge factor in that because it's going to close a ton of doors for you if you're not eligible. And like another quick thing, Pooh, that a lot of these guys don't even sign up with the NCAA. Senior year, middle of the year, they're about to graduate saying, oh, I didn't even sign up for the NCAA. If you're getting D1 offers, you have to sign up with the NCAA right away, knock it out, get it out of the way. Because it's causing some kids to have to go to junior college. It's crazy. Sad,
Well, with the transfer portal, it's making things super hard for high school athletes.
Now, when I'm going to cut you off because I want to ask you something, Pooh. When you left Lincoln, right, did you go to a prep school after Lincoln?
No, my senior year.
So your senior year you went to a prep school. Okay, so then – when you were getting who else was kind of offering you besides you went FDU, obviously?
I went to FDU, Jacksonville, Indiana State, Boston College, Connecticut, and FDU. Indiana State. So Indiana State, those are the 5.
So was FDU one of your
and
first
Iona?
offers?
Hold on, no, I had Iona. No, because it was Iona was on me very, very hard, and Hartford as well. Yeah, so
now where was FDU in like the offer process? Were they one of the first guys to kind of offer you?
No, they actually was the last.
Really? Right. So what do you think that's more important, kind of getting in early or kind of being the latest guy in the process?
Well, for me, again, the reason why I did go to prep school my senior year because I BS'd in junior high school and got myself left back, right? So I got myself left back, and then my birthday fell a day before the cutoff time, the 19th, right? So
you were ineligible that last season.
It's my birthday July 2nd, the cutoff for July 1st.
Unbelievable.
So my coach, salute to legendary Bobby Hartstein, he had another player in Spice Gilpatrick, one of the greatest guards of New York City history, there. Spice wound up being ineligible because of some kind of situation.
Yeah.
If we would have pushed it and probably, pushed it, they probably could have got it through. But since what happened to Spice, my coach didn't want me to get in that situation where at the last minute you have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
So we had, and this is why I'm so close to Mr. Kachowski, rest in peace. Because when I was a senior, if I come back, just say if things was normal and I don't go to FDU, MCI, I come back as the number 1 guy in New York City because we win it and we're going to win it again, right? Yeah. But my potential, my high side was good, so he called Oak Hill and MCI.
Yeah.
And those are the 2 choices. And when we called Oak Hill first, and then when he said he had to call Tom to kind of confirm everything when we just spoke to Tom and he said he just spoke to you.
Yeah.
And then Paul Pellicani opened up the doors and I went up there. But to make a long story short, this is why I am an advocate for kids getting their grades right. Yeah. Right. But I won't let that stop me in ranking them how I want to rank them because of their basketball talent.
I agree with that.
Right, because there's certain things we can watch and see, then there's other things we can't. We don't know. A lot of people didn't know my situations. So when I wound up going to prep school, people had no idea. Like, why the hell are you going to prep school?
Thought you just like sold out on the city. You said,
Lincoln,
everything, and there's no social media, And then another thing, Pooh, I wanted to kind of piggyback on with you going to FDU. So your second year, after your first year, you have a lot of success. Was there any thought to maybe go somewhere else, or were you just like locked in? Because that's why I want to ask your opinion. If the portal was around then,
I'm gone.
You're
Because
gone.
what
Right?
happened was,
You don't have to sit, right? You're
yes,
right
I
out.
did sit. Listen,
Oh,
I
so
got caught in that Prop 48 situation because there was some complication with my grades. I passed the ACT.
Yeah.
What happened was they couldn't believe that my grades went up the way it did. Now, they didn't change my grades. It just, when I went to Maine, I was in a classroom with 12 students. I was able to focus.
Of
And
course.
then the real
No distractions.
hard work, the real hard worker in me came out.
Yeah.
So they thought it was some big scandal. And then at the last minute, I was rooting eligible. Mind you, the reason why I went to FDU, one of the big reasons, because Rerichert went there, who played with me at Lincoln.
Okay.
He had a lot of success there.
Yeah, yeah.
And they just built the Rothman Center. So when I got there, it was the first time the Rothman Center was built. So it was just like, okay, I like to come in on new beginnings.
Yeah. Now, were there any other New York kids there besides you? I know you'd have to go back.
No.
Yeah.
Just me. Well, we had Jamie Latney. We had two. Jamie Latney, actually three. Jamie Latney from Freeport, Eric Odom from Huntington, and then we had Lou Wilson from Amityville. So those guys, they all two came before me. The first two came before me, and Lou came after me.
Okay.
So, but city kids. No, and Mike Pollard came up as a freshman when I was, I think, a junior or senior.
Okay.
From boys and girls.
And then you guys made the NIT what?
My senior year.
Okay. How was that?
Year. It was awesome. I still got the ball right here.
I love that.
And listen, we made the NCAA's my freshman year.
Yeah.
We had some good teams and beat some good schools.
Yeah.
But I would have transferred if my mother would have allowed me to. I would have, even without the transfer portal, but my mother told me these people kept their word.
Yeah.
You're gonna graduate. And again, the importance of education, you're gonna get a free education. And then I didn't have anybody back then to kind of say, okay, man, you could do that anywhere.
Yeah, and it's not like you had anyone networking you with other. You're not talking to other coaches and programs, right? Like how it is today, you know.
But PJ Carlissimo came up to me. What was it? The end of my sophomore year, going to my junior year.
Yeah.
He was like, "We'd love to have you. You want to come?" Just on the walk by and smiled and winked at me.
Yeah.
I never forget that. I was like,
he gave you the "you coming" or what?
You know, but again, listen, all this stuff that's happening with kids moving back and forth. Now we have the high school transfer portal, right? What we had in New York City this year was absolutely bonkers. Over 35 kids, and about 15 major kids, not just.
Well, that was the thing. It's not just regular kids going. It's the stars of the league moving around. I mean, the amount of kids that bounce around in the Catholic League, wild stuff.
So what they're only looking at what they see in college.
Mm-hmm.
You're not happy, come over here. You get some more burn, you get some more attention given to you. You get more offers because you don't have any right now.
Yeah.
And that's attractive to a kid, and then they're stuck.
It's funny. I was joking around with my buddy about Boogie Flan, how we were talking about before the show is going to commit on Friday. It's going to be a rare thing, Pooh, a kid of age, 4 years at the same school, at a Catholic League school. I don't see it, I could see it kind of becoming a trend that doesn't happen a lot,
He's not a reclass, right?
Kids,
he's not a reclass, right?
No, he's definitely not. I think he's pretty young for a senior.
He didn't reclass twice, right?
No, he's definitely not a reclass kid.
Yeah, I know. That's why that kid, let me tell you something. Boogie Flan, best player in New York, for my opinion. Best player. It's a great attitude, great kid. Not saying the other kids aren't great kids.
Oh yeah.
Just something special about this kid.
I got him ranked 2, and I'm right there with you, man. I mean,
who's your number 1?
Special. Listen, it's gonna bring controversy. I said it I've been high on these three for probably a year and a half. Probably longer for the other two since my number one kind of just popped up. Yeah, that's the NYC hoops. Maurice Wingate posted that his top 10 with a little influence from all the guys, and he kind of throws it out there. But Pooh, my number one is VJ Edgecombe, man, and I am.
Yo, he is special. And I wouldn't argue with that. If you said that's your number one, I don't have any argument with that because I watched him, last year, especially in the state championship, and him separate himself from everybody else.
Yeah, who'd you see him play against last year? Do you remember?
They played against Stepinac.
Yeah,
they played against Stepinac, and I seen him, I think the year before against South Shore.
Yeah, he just makes some plays that are just totally different. It's so funny. I love the top three so much. I'm such a big Captain Jack guy. I mean, love joking around with that kid. I mean, if you
he's a superstar. You can't deny Ian Jackson is a superstar.
How marketable would he be in NIL if you were running that show? I mean, I feel like he could get sponsors from everywhere. I mean, the kid's so likable. Like you said, he's a superstar. I definitely think he's probably my number one if I had to pick a pro from 2024. But I would go, he's probably my top pro prospect. Boogie's my number one guard in the country, and then I would go VJ number one just because of the massive athletic potential this kid has. I mean, he's like a mini Vince Carter, Phil. That's honestly how I see him.
Was you at the city championship game between Hayes and Stepinac?
Oh my! The first quarter that Boogie put on. Probably
the first half. No, the best half in high school basketball.
No doubt.
He had 22 points and then missed a shot.
As my top guy, Adrian Griffin, I thought had the best performance I ever saw, the junior. The young kid as a freshman, but that half that Boogie Flam put on in that at St. John's.
He didn't miss a shot?
No.
And he was taking tough shots.
Guys are all over him. I mean, you know who's taking the shot. You know where it's going. And, Boogie still got it done.
Now, the guy on the list who I didn't see, is it Laquan from OSL?
Oh, Delquan Warren.
Yeah,
he's transferring in from Pennsylvania. So he's a new guy in New York City. But he's another monster guard, 4-star guy, going to Mississippi State. And anytime you're playing SEC ball, you're a serious dude. So he's expected to be, he could even potentially have a bigger year than Chapa at OSL. But all three of those guys are going to be crazy. Warren, Jackson, and Moore are going to be special.
Now, do you think it's fair that we rank the players at OSL the same as we rank the high school kids?
It's a great question.
Since they play on a national prep schedule and not high school
schedule. It's a great question. I constantly get that, especially doing Long Island stuff, Pooh, with Lehigh. I'm running into that all the time. Anytime I do a list, I got to almost tell Coach Buck, don't hate me too much. Don't get too upset with me because I could put every guy on your roster probably in my top 10, but kind of show love to everybody. But yeah, it's a good question. As much as I didn't want to see him leave the league, I understand. But, I'm a little torn on it, Pooh, I guess. I don't have a definitive answer, but it's definitely something to consider. Maybe they shouldn't be on with the OSL.
Listen, Tyler Johnson, right, who was at OSL last year. He's at Louisville now, right?
Yes.
Me and his dad grew up in the same neighborhood. Knew Tyler since he was a kid.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't put him on my all-city list because they played in the prep. They played on a whole different level.
Yeah.
Right? It's easy. That would have been easy. That's easy because the talent level is just so different and just so wide from the kids in the PSL and the public school. Only a few could play at that level and with them.
Yes.
Right. So it's just, I just wanted to ask that question just to be fair.
Yeah. Now, it's funny. Like we were, Wingate even maybe left off some guys in the beginning and we had to kind of be like, whoa, you forgot about this guy. But, you leave so many good names off the list. Like one guy we actually had to boot down because we forgot somebody is Nasir Rodriguez at Scanlon. And I mean, I absolutely adore this kid. I mean, 6'4", 6'5", terrific off guard, got a bunch of D1 offers, you know, very legit, and, you know, easily could be in that top 10, because that's one thing Wingate does a good job is he kind of updates it throughout the season a little bit. So there could be some new names on that list that hopefully may emerge if they play well.
Let me tell you something. Nasir Rodriguez is such a great young man.
Oh,
You know,
terrific.
we talked to him. Actually, let me just tell you this. So I'm at Elm Core a couple of weeks ago, and I'm in the stands with legendary New York City legends, Sam Worthen and Joe Hammond. And we sit back and we listening to Joe analyze the game and give us feedback. Let me tell you something, people. If you never heard of Joe Hammond, go look him up on YouTube, right? And don't get caught up in the stories, because that basketball IQ
is still there, baby.
Not even still there, it's through the roof.
Yeah.
So for me, sitting back and listening to him talking about kids and like a whole different generation,
yeah,
it gave me chills. So after the game, you know, we spoke to me and Sam. We spoke to Nazir. Salute to Coach. You know, he was very attentive. Always great young man. And then
great kid.
Once we finished talking to him, he was like thanked us, and he was very appreciative. So that man has a great upside, man. Salute to Nasir Rodriguez. I mean Muhammad.
Absolutely.
Rodriguez. Excuse me. I got my guy confused from
the Zavarian boy.
The Zavarian, right? And I think he picked a great school.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have a big year for them. He's gonna have a great career with them if he sticks with them.
Yes.
No doubt. That was a steal. That was a steal, Pooh. If I could have told you how many coaches told me he's not D1, oh, it would blow your mind, man.
Listen.
I just said sure. I guess
not. I sat with some Division I coaches who said that.
Yep.
You know, and no knock to them because they got the player that they deserve. But it goes to show you, no matter what you see on these kids' pages, when it's come to the end of the day, we'll see and all will be revealed.
Absolutely. And like you said, even with your experience, like, you know, it's almost kind of like who offers the latest, you know, who's kind of in the makes the biggest push at the end, you know? Very
true. Very true. Now, we talk about some of the top teams in the PSAL, right? Which you guys, you don't get to see a lot of, correct?
Correct.
So what I can do, why don't you give me your top schools in the Captain School League, and I'll give you my top schools in the PSL for this year, who I think is going to be.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. You want to go first? You want to give us the PSL?
I'll go first. So, and I'm not going to say any particular order because I still have to see. But for now.
Can I give you my PSAL championship prediction or no?
All right, afterwards.
All right, let's go.
Right?
Let's go.
So, Eagle Brooklyn, right? First of all, I'm gonna say South Shore. We're gonna lead this off with South Shore.
I don't think South Shore should ever not be mentioned in this list as long as Coach is rocking it.
Salute to my guy, Coach Smoke, who does a hell of a job with South Shore. And man, he's such a passionate coach. But I'm gonna go South Shore, Eagle Brooklyn, Brooklyn Collegiate. Eagle Brooklyn. Then I'm gonna go James Monroe.
I like James Monroe.
Right? Eagle Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn Collegiate. Cause that could fit either way. Brooklyn Collegiate, Eagle Bronx, right? But the top three is Eagle, South Shore, Eagle, James Monroe, Eagle Bronx, and who the last did I say? Eagle Bronx and Brooklyn Collegiate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love Brooklyn Collegiate's depth.
Everybody else is in the mix.
Everybody else.
But those top five right there.
Is there any schools that, Monroe is a phenomenal pick. Is there any kind of schools, maybe you can give me one or two kind of outside that five that potentially could make their way into five?
Let me tell you, you can never count Thomas Jefferson out.
Absolutely.
I don't care what happens.
Oh yeah.
Coach Bud does such an excellent job motivating his kids and getting the next kid to step up.
They were my favorite team to play in the Hofstra camp. Pooh. I wanted to play Thomas Jefferson every single time. Those kids gave us an absolute workout no matter what. I loved it. Great program.
And for the A division, you know, the team that I saw, I like Transit Tech.
Okay.
Right?
You like Ashton Reynolds?
I love Ashton Reynolds. Coach Hafford is amazing, right?
How good do you think Ashton Reynolds could be?
Ashton Reynolds sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. I just think he needs to get his basketball skills down. For the ball handling, I think he's a tremendous rebounder and defensive player. Great athlete. His jump shot is proved tremendously over the years.
Yeah.
He find a steady pull-up jump shot and get their handle together. Man, who knows?
Yeah, he kind of got on my radar a couple months ago, and he's a name I've been hearing constantly for a potential guy who could be the best player in the PSAL. So I'm glad you said that.
I wouldn't go that far yet. No, honestly, he had the potential, but
yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing potentially, potentially he could be one of those top guys, in the league. But
because for me, you're going to have to be able to dominate the game on both sides, be able to get your own shot without have to wait for it. You get what I'm saying? You have to be able to do a lot.
Have you checked out Monroe, Pooh? Have you been to
Oh, man. I have.
Or you just seen them?
I know. I saw them play this summer.
Yeah. How much you love Big Man?
He's good. He's good. He's again, I think he likes to be more outside than inside. Yeah. But he's very versatile, and it could work with that team because he has such a versatile team.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He
strong guards.
Has some big guards. Yeah.
He got some nice strong guards. They're very good. They're going to be very good.
A lot of people been telling me to check them out. And I love the big guy. Love the strong guard they have too. That's definitely a big team on my radar. And then, like you said, South Shore, man, always going to be a problem. Kevin Kearney, one of the only PSAL players on our top 10 list, and a couple good sources I have in New York City, a couple guys I really rely on. Some of them think he could be the best kid in, besides those kind of top three we talked about.
Kev potential is limitless.
Yeah.
I talked to this kid.
Right, bro?
Yes, you can't teach sides.
Yeah.
Right. But the one thing I didn't understand, just, we talk about the other PSL kids, right? You have Ashton, right? You got Jakai Sanders. You got Ahmad Ibrahim, right? These are dudes that's going to make some noise. They made noise last year and going to make noise this year. Those guys being left off the list is, and I understand when I look at all the kids that's up here.
I got no problem hearing this criticism. I love it.
No, I want to hear some guys. But when we talk about dominance, and Ashton did put on for New York this year for the summer. So he showed his worth. Jakai Sanders also part of that Brooklyn team who won it as well.
Terrific prospect. I mean, very underrated. And he had a terrific career at Laughlin. He did a lot of good things. He impressed me every time I saw him. Could use him all over, tough guard, athletic. I mean, he's a guy who could probably start right away in college, And he's going to be one of the best players in the league. He's probably going to be one of my top contenders for Player of the Year.
Yes. What's your 5?
Well, I'm not sure if I got a 5 because I'm pretty close to you. But if I'm gonna go a little crazy.
No. You do Catholic school. No, you do Catholic. Stay on the Catholic side.
We'll do Catholic.
Yeah.
All right. So I was kind of doing some brainstorming, and I was kind of doing some tier work in the Catholic League. But I think if I was gonna do my top 5, I'm gonna throw in Stepanak, Christ the King. I'm gonna put Hayes in there,
mm-hmm.
And then there's a lot of close teams right there. I'm gonna give. See, I want to put one team in, but I think they're just not gonna make it. They're close.
What team you think that is?
I'm gonna put in Prep, St. Francis Prep.
How do you not put in St. Francis Prep?
Absolutely.
Let me say
they
this.
We're gonna be in there. They're in there.
And let me explain something to you. Because I gotta speak, my guy Jimmy Lynch, he won Coach of the Year last year.
Love Jimmy, man.
Throughout the whole city. What he does with his teams, no real stars. Even though Josh Pasquarelli is a star player, right?
Absolutely.
But he did. Everybody else was.
Yeah. Nigel Moore, Tyler Michelle, solid
Big
guys.
O?
Two solid guys, man. Big O, solid as a rock.
He gets his team to play the way he wants them to play. So you gotta count them in. Like I'm sitting here going, you're not gonna say St. Francis.
No, definitely saying that my 4. My 5, I'm kind of up and down, But I'm gonna give it to the young guys. I'm gonna give it to the guards, and I'm gonna go St. Ray's 5.
St. Ray's, yeah.
St. Ray.
Yeah, tough.
And my sleeper team, I do like Iona Prep.
Okay.
I think the coach from Hayes is doing a really nice job over there. Another guy who I don't know if you've seen, Lucas Murillo, Iona Prep. Fantastic. 6'5",
really?
6'6", 2 guard. Just got offered from Washington, a couple other D1s. Very, very legit. He should be a breakout guy.
Was he there last year?
Yeah.
I know you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah, I think he plays on a national team. Like Puerto Rico. I'm not exactly sure what team he plays for, but he's got some international experience too. I like him a lot. Got you.
Yo, I told her I called a tech in the first 2 minutes of the show, man. You missed it. Hopefully we'll get to another one. They love those texts.
So what do you think of my top 5? Would you move
you was on point. You was on point. I like Scanlon as well.
I like Scanlon too. Scanlon's probably in that's 5 to 7 for me right now.
You talking St. Peter's going to be tough again this year?
Yeah, absolutely. They're another team that should be at the top.
They got both Martin brothers there, right?
Yeah,
got both Kadir and Talib. Yeah.
Yeah, and Kadir is a very underrated player. I mean,
again, another one.
No one even talks about him, Pooh. No one even talks about him. I mean, I think he told me he's down in his top 5, 6 schools. And I mean, they're all, pretty much mid-majors, No one even talks about him.
He comes from another of our great family trees.
Oh, right? Yeah.
We're going to do that with my guys. I'm going to do that with my guys talking about the family trees in New York City.
Can you believe how many there are now? I mean, there's so many guys. I mean, just thrown out there, Isley is stepping out. I mean, there's so many different guys, with kids around playing in the league. I mean, the Ratliff boys.
Right.
Stepanak, you seen those kids play?
Let me tell you. So I'm watching Raw Phelps Jr. At Christ the King.
Yeah.
Right? It was the playoffs. And also Cardinal Hayes was there, and the Stepanak played, and those 7-footers.
My God.
Shooting from like half court.
I know. I was ready to message Theo. They're yours?
They should not. Right. They should be on varsity this year.
Oh, yeah.
Boogie is going to be kicking it out to them. It's going to be a show.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, they got some big time potential, man. Especially the way they shoot it. I mean, like you said, they're like 6'9" already.
Right.
Probably weighing 160 pounds. They haven't even gotten thick like that yet. I mean, I can't even imagine how those two are going to pan out.
I told you. I mentioned I did the Tom Kachowski game last year. Salute to Coach Holford. And the captain of the school swept the PSL. And the cities in the select game, in the city select game, which was our honorable mention guys, the captain of the school blew the PSL out. Then we got to the all city game where all the top tier guys, and the only kids that wasn't there was, which Thankfully so, because it probably been a massacre. But it probably been a little bit different too if Boogie, Ian, and Chopper showed up.
Okay.
But everybody else is there, and everybody else is there in the PSCL.
There's plenty of guys, Pooh. Plenty of guys.
So the PSCL is winning most of the game. And they was up by so much, they started going for their own points. They started going back to what they know, right?
Yeah.
And the Catholic school just chipping away. And then Josh Pasquarelli got hot, and they was just giving the ball off the double screen. Just Josh
What a pickup for Marist, huh?
He is such. Let me tell you, he's going to shock a lot of people.
I just remember, I'm close to one of the assistants, Drew Metz, who used to be at Lehigh. Terrific young coach, very up and coming in the game. I just remember telling him, how the heck did you pull that off? How did you get Josh, man? It was a steal. I think he's going to be terrific, like you said, right away. I mean, just the way he shot, he kind of went through all the stages, Pooh, of like being a side guy, then being the man with everybody on you, Like you said, there's something to development when you stay on your same team and kind of go through the roles. And, a lot of this like kind of headhunter basketball with AAU is just, I don't know if it really, helps you with your development, Pooh, bouncing around so much. I know you got to be in different environments. Every new year you're in college, you get a whole new roster pretty much, and you got to fit in. But I think there's something to the development of staying in a spot and kind of figuring out, all right, I'm off the bench. Now I'm a starter. Now I'm the man. Now I'm the focus. I don't know, bro.
AAU is become like fast food. Instant gratification.
Yeah.
And since, you got guys that go, well, if you're not going to take my player, I'll create my own team. And you got 100 guys doing the same thing now. It's become a money grab.
Yeah. I remember there was one Long Island AAU team when I was young. One team. Yeah,
and there was 3 city teams. It was Madison Broncos, Riverside, and Gauchos. And if you didn't make those 3, you stayed home and played in the city and developed. Exactly. And there was nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with being told no sometimes. That's another thing a lot of the kids, especially, the top tier kids I'm talking about, they don't really ever get told the truth, what you need to work on, what you need to fix. They're just getting yes guys, and that really doesn't work out for a lot of these guys in the end.
So this is what I wanted to ask you, right? Again, when we talk about not having the MSGs no more, we got New York News, but they only show up on rare occasions. So we don't have that constant feedback with something a kid can see either their highlights or know about their stats or a place where people can tap in and figure out the scores.
It's hard to even get stats on these guys. It's hard to even look up, who won last night. It's crazy.
What I created a network.
Yeah.
That's why I was able to put out the small articles last year and do that just on that level so kids can have something. But I think something like this, once a week wrap up, right, of what happened during the week of the games.
Yeah.
And those people and we only could do what's given to us and what we saw.
Yes.
Right. And hopefully that will motivate coaches to send in the stats after the game, to get them complete after the game.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I just have such a long list of coaches. I just call them and tell them to email me their book.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I know some people do on Long Island, Pooh, like for the network, they almost have like either you leave like a voicemail, and you kind of recap, like you said, go through your book of who scored, how many points, and you do each side, and they kind of in Long Island they basically have the winning team is responsible for contacting the website and letting them know all that stuff. So that's kind of how Long Island does it. Like Newsday, they kind of do a voicemail collection or an email, so maybe coaches could do that. It might be easier for you. Just leave a voicemail.
Yeah, I'd rather text because I don't check voicemails. For me, it's easy for text. But I'm just saying if we could gather that data, and then once a week, if you don't mind, Pooh, is it cool if I come on this day and I'll make some time for you, bro?
Absolutely. Anytime you want to chop up and we could do a weekly thing. Absolutely. I mean, anything we could get more coverage on these kids, I'm about it. So,
That's dope, man. Love the energy, brother. Love the energy. Now, another thing we talked about in the beginning. How does the future of New York City look?
I got to tell you, as much as a lot of people are, all in on this 2024 class, I honestly think the future is in terrific hands. I think the 2025 class is strong, especially the guards. We talked about big man at James Monroe. There's definitely some guys who I'm expecting to take that kind of next leap in 2025 to kind of push themselves up. And Pooh, the 2026, these sophomores, I mean, we've mentioned a couple guys. The class is loaded. I mean, off the bat, there's not a ton of guys in the rivals. I would say top 100 they might have thrown out or a top 80. But I think there's going to be 5 to 7 guys in the top 100 by the time it's done. I mean, Stepanak's got some guys. Hayes, Big O, like we talked about. I mean, Long Island has Caleb Overgrew. I don't know if you saw him from McClancy, Pooh. I mean, he's a potential pro. I mean, there's
Really
big-time guys coming up. Yeah, I got to see him at the team camp at McClancy. Real Scout put me onto him. This kid, Caleb, he just transferred to Lawrence Woodmere.
Yes, I know you're talking about now. I know exactly what you're talking about now.
He's
Yes.
fantastic, Pooh. I mean, he's the 2026. And then I just kind of started my report on the 2027s, especially the Catholic League. There's some serious kids coming in there too. Some serious 2027s coming up. So the future of NYC is extremely bright. And just from a few of my contacts upstate, Pooh, the 2026 guys are special too. So New York's looking great, especially future-wise.
Yeah, I got a chance to see Kingston play last year in New Rochelle. Of course, I went up to Mount Vernon to see them play, which always have a shitload of players.
There's a ton of good guys there. Mount Vernon's got some good kids. And then Pooh, even higher. There's a kid, I'll give you a name. 2026, his name is Darian Moore. They call him Payday from Central Catholic. He's got about 5 D1 offers. He's already like almost a 2,000-point scorer as, going to be a 10th grader. The kid is phenomenal. You've got to see this kid. He plays for the City Rocks. Very special talent coming up in 2026.
Oh, man, I definitely got to go check him out.
Payday Moore. Great nickname, so hard to
find. Yeah, that's an awesome.
He's a bucket, man. He's a bucket. Yeah.
All right, so what I want to do now, before we get out of here, right, is talk about what can we do as the new media now, right? What can we do to help expand the scope of New York City basketball on the boys and girls side in New York City? What can we do?
Well, I got to tell you, the girls need so much. There are so many talented girls in the city. And, I mean, there's a ton of girls from New York going Division I, and they really get no coverage. I mean, some people do a really nice job, but it's too few. And it's kind of the same with the boys like we talked about. I think a big factor for us moving forward is us kind of staying together as a media, like doing stuff like we're doing, Pooh, coming on a podcast, talking about it from different platforms. It's not a me versus you.
That's right.
It's not adult versus adult. And a lot of media guys are, I got to be the first one out. I got to be the first. I got to get the most clicks. And, when a coach texts me the info of a kid getting an offer, I'm not saying to myself, I'm the only guy, Pooh, with this information.
Right.
I know he's sending it to 20 different people and it's all going out. It's just part of what it is, But if we take
hold on. You heard the next tech. Yo, B. Yo, you have no idea. We talk about this all the time. And I don't know if you saw what we just did as far as what I did with the other coming together with the other podcast guys, like my guy All Things Hoops, All All Ball TV, A Game, podcast, and Are We Live. All these guys run their own separate entities, and we came together just to expand the culture. And I think stuff like, you not being afraid to come up here and be like, well, we have our own platform and we do it like this. No, I think collaboration is great because it benefits the kids. Like, we're not doing this for likes and hits. This is not something that we're doing for likes and hits.
No. And it's something I kind of figured out early on, because someone always said, oh, you making a lot of money doing this and that? And I said, it has nothing to do with money. This is about passion, about the kids, and, about doing something you love. So that's really how I kind of see it,
And
like
kids,
you said, perfect collaboration, us coming together, working together, and all, like you said, it's all going to benefit the kids.
they don't have this. Kids don't have this anymore.
What is that?
It's my scrapbook.
You think any of these kids know how to scrapbook, Pooh?
No, let me tell you. If they were in the paper,
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, right? Because
Yeah.
the kids will pick up the paper to read some sports, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
If they were in it. Because I didn't start reading the paper until I was in it.
Yeah, of
And
course.
we talking about for something positive. The big articles, especially the Sunday news, you get the big spread. Bill
Of
Travis
course.
back. They don't have that.
Yeah.
Right, and that was us. So I think if we do a great job giving them exposure, we can get more kids into better situations.
Yeah. But
so
that
they
MSG varsity thing you're talking about, though, Pooh, that's the kind of untapped thing that I think these kids need. Like, I've even talked to Mike Quick because he still does an ESPN radio show for football. I bust his chops all the time. I said, I love you, Mike, but you're wasting time with football, man. The talent is in hoops. There's D1 kids all over the place, like you're going to see some of the best kids in the world. And, I coach football. It's nothing against it. I mean, my high school, St. Anthony's, has one of the best kids they've had probably in there. We got like a potential pro there right now. But at the same time, the talent is down compared to basketball that is way up. I mean, if could you imagine if people had tape and we put on TV on a regular channel, Hayes versus that Stepanek final? I mean, tons of people would have enjoyed that game and watched it.
I think it was streamed. Wasn't it streamed?
It was probably streamed, Pooh, but you know what I mean. It's just like a lot of these games should be on TV, and like they should be on the Yes Network and stuff like that, And I know that like they're trying to do a little. I've heard some rumblings that they have been throwing. I know they threw on some games last year a little bit here and there.
Yeah, they did. The first Stepanek Cardinal Hayes game I was at Cardinal Hayes was on Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, they should do. There's so much talent and so many good teams that they could do, multiple games per week, and people would watch it. The gyms are packed every game.
If any place they should have been at that city championship game last year between Jefferson and Eagle.
Absolutely.
That was the greatest game of the year last year. The intensity of it, the crowd, it had way more people at the Barclays than it was at St. John's.
Oh yeah.
And then how it ended in such dramatic fashion.
What a shot, huh?
So mind you, Jefferson beat Eagle like that in the semis. I mean, in a Burroughs.
Like the reverse. It was almost.
Yeah.
It was
the same shot from a different side.
That was. I mean, if you would have made a series like a documentary of that year, that would have been a true Hollywood ending. The way he hit that shot. I mean, that was unbelievable. And you know what I want to ask you about that team? Give me your thoughts. What do you think about Acker that just graduated from there and the kid Trey? Do you like where they went, and do you like them at the next level? Do you think they'll both be, probably starters or impact players for that team?
They will. I think, you got Charles, Mo Hicks, and of course Ross Strickland at the head. It's going to make Eric into the player they want. Now, Eric, the people understand, he led the PSL in assists, I think 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah, he was my favorite player on that team.
That's not by chance. Yeah. Now, here's a guy, he can score and get his points. But what he did, he made his team better.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
Trey Shep is such an underrated big man. He has a nice touch on the outside, very hard worker, and a fierce rebounder. It's like things that they have attributes that that's going to help them on the next level.
Him and the Jefferson kid I love too. Shep and
are you talking about Anthony?
Yes. Love those two kids. Thought those two kids were very under recruited.
If he would have went, he didn't want to sit out a year.
Yeah.
He would have to go there and sit out a year, but still have his 4 years to play.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And look, Anthony was a beast. He was to me, he was the best big man in the city.
So if I gotta press you for a PSAL prediction can you give me a championship prediction? Not who wins, just who's in the game. And then give me your prediction for player of the year in the league. If you can. I don't know if you're working on anything.
No, I'm gonna say it may be South Shore Eagle Brooklyn.
Okay. South Shore Eagle Brooklyn.
I like that. Eagle Brooklyn got a sophomore. 6'6" from Africa.
Okay. Oh, Mangok Locke, right? Yeah.
Luol Deng Jr.
LIU just offered him, correct?
Luol Deng. He's gonna get bigger than that.
Really?
Trust me.
Yeah. I've heard.
Remember, I said it. Left-handed Luol Deng.
I will definitely remember that. Who you got for player of the year?
That's tough. I'm gonna say.
I know it's so tough to pick one guy.
Either I'm gonna say either Kev Kearney, Jakai Sanders, or Ashton Reynolds.
Ashton Reynolds. Okay. I am gonna go. I'm saying the championship is gonna be in the nest, Eagle versus Eagle championship with Jakai Sanders winning player of the year in the PSL.
They tried to make that happen last year. I don't know. I think Coach Rose.
I like the mix they got at BX, man.
Coach Rose I think Coach Rose, my guy from James Monroe.
Yep.
Right? Glasses, right?
Great.
And Coach Malcolm are all in that place where they have to get over that hump.
Yeah.
Right? They have to get over that hump to show and prove to me that they're a championship team.
Correct.
And I think once that happens, then we can talk that talk. But until then, they got to prove. They got to show and prove.
Yeah. I think I liked a couple of the pieces that the Eagle in the Bronx made. And I think that little run they got last year, I mean, it kills them losing Jaden. I know that. Brutal loss, Jaden Zimmerman. I know that. I was so.
And what about the other guy, Bull, right? Jaron Bull.
Jaron Bull. Yep. But I just think that experience, that little run they had, plus a couple pieces, and Eagle, like you said, Brooklyn is loaded, man. Loaded.
If Jaron Bull
that play the Catholic League a ton.
If Jaron Bull and Jaden Zimmerman were coming back this year, right?
Oh.
Then I'll say that. I'll say that. I think now again, it's about getting that next star. It's about getting that next player or players to get you over that hump. He got a nice young group. I want to see the Harrington kid. I want to see the Harrington kid there. I think Gibbs is going to have a big year. DeAndre Gibbs for them. But we'll see. Like you said, they're a team that is right on that cusp that's got to take that next step. So yeah.
And then what are you thinking for Catholic League? Have you done enough research? What are you thinking?
I'm gonna say stepping that.
Stepping back over who you think they play in the finals?
Maybe stepping that Christ the King.
Yeah, that's my final prediction. I think, like you said, Prep's going to be right there. Hayes going to be right there.
Yep.
A mystery team is going to be right there too. Like I said,
and the mystery team is going to be in the PSL too. Don't let me tell. I I think in both leagues, it's going to be a team that nobody talks about that's going to sneak up and make some noise.
Yeah, and like you said, the team might be Scanlon. It could be Iona, like I said, but one of those teams is going to kind of sneak up, and then I think Boogie's going to win Player of the Year and sail off into the sunset.
Definitely, most definitely. Nah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Now we gonna pick where Boogie's going or what?
No, I told you. I'm leaning Indiana.
Yeah, and I'm with you. You know, like I said with you before the show, you know, I always kind of thought Kentucky might be the spot, you know, when he was younger. But these Hoosier fans, man, and our old friend Mike Woodson, he's really going all in, man. He's been at the house multiple times. He's at Stepanak every week. I mean, he's really all in on this kid. It'd be great to see him go to Indiana.
Now, with our history of New York City, we don't really fare well in the SEC and Big Ten. Just for some reason. I'm just talking about the history.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For some reason, our players don't fare well. But again, I think Boogie is such a dynamic player, right, that he will be able to do well. But I think he would fare better in Big Ten with Indiana than he would in the SEC with Kentucky.
I agree. I actually 100% agree with you. I think he'll have a lot more. I think his usage will be a lot greater in Indiana. I think he'll be a lot more the focus. And, you know, like we said, Kentucky's just one of those schools. It's like you're almost always looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
You're always looking at the next recruiting class.
Yeah.
Looking at the transfer portal now, you know. It's
and the other, what's the other school?
And then Alabama is also in the mix, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to Alabama.
Yeah, I'm not.
Only because it's just a football school.
Well, I gotta say, what's his name's doing a great job, and I know they're doing a lot of NIL stuff, and I think that makes them a player. And most of this stuff is they get a lot of backing, Pooh. You know, I know they're throwing a lot of money around. Alabama, Arkansas. You know, those schools.
Are you going for the money, or are you going for have a good career?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, Pooh. You know, if you got guys like you in their corner telling them, you know, listen, end game, degree, or you know, a really good spot where you know you come back and you know you're loved there. You know, you build something really special there. You know, or a lot of these kids take that mercenary route. Who's going to pay me the most? And you know, those kids usually don't fare too well, Pooh. You know, they really don't have the experience that a lot of guys should have.
Makes a lot of sense, man. Make a lot of sense, brother. For sure. So you have anything else that you want to add in before we get up out of here?
Oh man, it's just been an absolute pleasure, Pooh. I wish I was on this a lot longer, and I really hope we do some more stuff, my man.
This is only the beginning. Trust
Absolutely.
me. I had this plan for a long time. I said when I get him up here, you know, the perfect person to give the recap. Again, let me say this, brother. I love what you're doing, right?
Thank you, man.
I love your energy. I definitely want to, you know, do some things with you. Definitely we could do that recap. And definitely want to do that. And keep doing what you're doing, man. Don't lose the love, man, because we need guys like you out here in New York City because it's such a cutthroat town. Everybody's just trying to stab each other in the back. And I think, you know, when you cool in your skin and you know you're here to be of service to others, especially kids, it makes life so much better.
And Pooh, like, there are so many great people in New York City basketball. I mean, I've been embraced by so many, you know, program directors, coaches, media guys like you who've been around for so long. And it's honestly made the transition so good because, you know, honestly, one of my titles is kind of Long Island, but I've just kind of naturally fallen in love with city basketball, you know, when I first got a taste of it, when I first started coaching. And I mean, the people, you know, involved in NYC basketball are just like the best. There's so many good people that always there to help me out. You know, anytime I need something, they'll lift me up, pick me up, or give me a compliment. So I just can't believe how many great people there are in the media that in basketball, you know, guys like you. I just appreciate all you guys all the advice, all the support you guys have been giving me. So I just want to shout everybody out for that.
Nah, we appreciate you. And listen, you're going to be my connect to those Long Island games.
Anytime, baby. We can go to any game you want.
Question, have you ever been to the MAC?
Yeah.
Now, again, no disrespect. I just found out about the MAC this year, right? I'm having the commissioner on.
Yeah.
Actually, his nephew is one of my students, but because I work at Valley Stream, right?
Oh, do you? Okay. Which one?
Yeah.
You at
I work at the charter school in Martin de Porres.
Okay, nice.
So, but again, I didn't get to any games last year. Like, super shout out to Jalen Waters. He will always hit me up, be like, come on to Allen.
Yeah.
My guy John Arnold out there in Baldwin and other places. The prom was it Chaminade. I was supposed to go there with Jefferson last year, but I had another game to attend. But I definitely want to get out to some of the schools and definitely see the kid at St. Anthony's.
Yeah.
And give them some light as well. But I want to go where the action's at.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, it's like, even though I said it's down, there's definitely some good games, there's definitely some guys worth checking out, and I'll definitely send you a bunch of maybe big time games that you could check out, like in Suffolk there's a really good team, Bayshore, they got a bunch of college kids on it. And there'll be some good games this year. There's definitely going to be a little more parity later on, and there'll definitely be some tighter games. But Long Island will have some stuff, and I'll get you down. I'll get you to check out. And I got to get you Luai. I got
for sure. And I'll let you know when the public schools is having something, so it keep you abreast of everything that's going on. And whatever you need from me, like from that side, just let me know. Whatever you need, just hit me up, brothers. I'm always the one phone call away, and I'm gonna send you my number so you can lock me in. All right.
Love it, my man. Sounds great.
Yo, listen, Brian, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on, and this is only the first of many, my friend.
Let's go, my man. I can't wait, Pooh.
Make your official basketball head for sure. For sure.
I love it, my man. Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, brother. Be good.
You too, my man. Peace out.
Salute. All right. See what happens when the city come together? This is what happens when the city come together. You get one of the best writers from one of the best sites, if not the best site for New York City basketball. Can't count out my guy, All Things Hoops, and, basketball heads at NYC Basketball Network, who covered, guys in the high school scene, and make sure that they're getting the props that they need. I would be, remiss if I didn't shout out my guy Randy at NYC Prospect. They do a hell of a job, the high school kids. But NYCHoops.net, you're getting the weekly coverage of the top players in the city, upstate, and in Long Island. That reach is wide. We got to show more love in the city and throughout New York City. Be there for our kids. If we don't, who will? And since the job landed in our hands, we're going to take the initiative. For everybody that joined us tonight, appreciate you. And all my basketball heads, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like, and share this. Let everybody know. This is the year New York City come together and be that bridge for our kids to cross so they can go to college, get a free education, and become productive citizens. And if we get a few NBA players, a few WNBA players, it's all good. But the goal is to help. So I want to thank my guest tonight, Brian Rerichert, for coming through, giving us some knowledge and some game. Everybody out there on the check-in, my guy Ayatollah, what up, what up? All Things Hoops, Cal Griffin, Maurice Bennett, Robin Higgins, Derek Hawkins. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. I'm going to put that up there. Thank you. Thank you. Collaboration is key to getting exposure for the high school kids. You are very, very correct. Salute to my guy, Corey Vice. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you, Ayatollah. Well, I'm about to get out of here. I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and you've been watching Basketball Heads Live, the podcast on NYC Basketball Network. And we are the official home for New York City basketball. Peace.